Fukushima rice regains hope from biomass resin. Japan egg shortage hits McDonald's to 7-Eleven. Swarm of quakes at Alaska volcano may signal an eruption. World's first 3D printed rocket debut aborted at last minute. Argentina makes headway in establishing a cannabis export industry. Adidas wonders what to do with Yeezy shoes. From marketing to design, brands adopt AI tools. Spotify listeners cross 500 million mark.
Greetings, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Carrick. Thank you for joining us on FUNDAY News. Today is Friday, March the 10th, and here are your top stories. Last November, Tokyo-based firm Biomass Resin opened a factory in Namiya in Fukushima Prefecture in Japan to turn locally grown rice into pellets. The raw materials are reborn as low-carbon plastic cutlery and takeout containers used in chain restaurants, plastic bags at post offices, and souvenirs sold at one of Japan's largest international airports. Local Fukushima farmers are grateful to Biomass as their rice can now be sold more easily.
Nami, located near the Fukushima nuclear power plant, is still struggling to recover from the March 2011 disaster. Biomass Resin's tidy factory sits on land originally set aside for another nuclear plant. But now a toasted rice aroma hangs around the factory line, where rice is combined with small plastic beads, heated and kneaded, before being extruded in thin rods that are cooled and cut into tiny brown pellets. The pellets, either 50% or 70% rice, are then sent to companies which manufacture plastic goods.
According to Teikoku Databank, 18 of 100 listed restaurant companies in Japan had suspended egg-related items as of March the 5th, including McDonald's, which had to take its Teritama muffin off its Japanese menu. The fast food giant has warned it could temporarily halt sales of hamburgers that contain eggs if supply disruptions persist. Similarly, 7-Eleven suspended the sales of some egg products in January, while mayonnaise maker Kewpie and Ajinomoto have said they will raise prices from April for products like mayonnaise and tartar sauce amid the surge in cost of eggs.
Teikoku Databank said on Tuesday the worst ever global outbreak of bird flu caused fewer hens and which led to a near doubling in the wholesale price of the farm staple to $2.37 a kilogram in February from the year before. According to Japan's Agriculture Ministry, the disease has spread to over half the nation's prefectures, forcing the cull of some 15 million birds. But Japan is just one of many countries wrestling with an outbreak that's sent egg prices skyrocketing in the U.S. and caused a shortage of baby chicks in China.
A swarm of earthquakes occurring over the past few weeks has intensified at a remote Alaska volcano dormant for over a century, a possible indication of an impending eruption. The Alaska Volcano Observatory raised the alert level to advisory status for Tanaga Volcano late Tuesday after the quakes became more vigorous. A researcher at the observatory said there had been hundreds of small earthquakes, known larger than magnitude 2.75, but all were concentrated beneath the summit of the volcano.
Research geophysicist with the U.S. Geological Survey stationed in Anchorage at the Alaska Volcano Observatory, John Power, said that indicates that we're seeing significant unrest at the volcano. Whether or not this will lead to an eruption is something we can't say at this point in time. We are concerned about it enough that we have gone and elevated the warning level. The volcano is on an uninhabited island in the western Aleutians, about 12 kilometers southwest of Anchorage.
A rocket made almost entirely of 3D printed parts remained on the pad Wednesday after its debut launch attempt was aborted at the last minute. Onboard flight computers halted the countdown with just over a minute remaining because of a temperature issue with the rocket's upper stage. Mission Control decided to fix the problem and try again before the launch window closed, but in the end called it quits for the day. There was no immediate word on when the company might try again.
California based Relativity Space was attempting to launch the rocket to orbit from a former missile site at Cape Canaveral Space Force Station. It's a relatively small rocket, just 33 meters, and won't be carrying anything for this test flight except for a memento, the first metal 3D print from the company's printers. About 85% of the rocket, named Terran, is made of 3D parts printed at the company's factory in Long Beach, California, including its engines. Relativity Space aims to increase that percentage in its future versions.
I always needed time on my own. I never thought I could be there.
I take your blessings with your heartaches too. It's so easy and so wonderful to know it's you.
学习，一切从今天开始。FUNDAY 英语。
Argentina's new cannabis watchdog is overseeing more than 50 projects related to the research and development of cannabis. The watchdog is establishing a regulatory framework as it bids to enter the potentially lucrative cannabis export market. Director of the Aracami Cannabis Agency, Gabriel Jimenez, said that the industry has incredible potential. According to a report from the Ministry of Productive Development, Argentina is hoping the industry could generate 10,000 direct jobs, $500 million in domestic sales, and $50 million in exports by 2025.
Latin American countries have been gradually loosening restrictions around the cultivation, distribution, and consumption of cannabis. Argentina's smaller neighbor, Uruguay, was the first modern country to explicitly legalize marijuana in 2013. Argentina is looking to build its domestic medical cannabis market and generate foreign currency through exports. It allows cannabis-derived products in pharmacies and has ordered insurers to cover prescriptions for marijuana-based medications, but recreational use is still forbidden.
Adidas is still wrestling with how to dispose of $1.3 billion worth of Yeezy shoes after its breakup with the rapper formerly known as Kanye West, forcing the German sportswear maker into a big loss at the end of last year and expectations of more pain ahead. During an earnings call Wednesday, CEO Bjorn Gulden pointed to many variables about what to do with the shoes now stacked in warehouses. Adidas split with Ye in October as it faced pressure to end ties with the rapper over his anti-Semitic and other offensive remarks.
Golden said selling the popular line of shoes would mean paying royalties to Ye. Destroying them could raise sustainability issues, though some companies have offered recycling solutions. Giving them away to those in need in places like earthquake hit Syria or Turkey would mean the product would come back again very quickly due to its high market value. The Ye breakup cost Adidas €600 million in lost sales in the last 3 months of 2022, helping drive the company to a net loss of €513 million.
Even if you haven't tried artificial intelligence tools that can write essays and poems, or even conjure new images on command, chances are the companies that make your household products are already starting to do so. Toy manufacturer Mattel has put the AI image generator DALL-E to work by having it come up with ideas for new Hot Wheels toy cars, while used vehicle seller CarMax is summarizing thousands of customer reviews with the same generative AI technology that powers the popular chatbot ChatGPT.
And the grocery delivery company Instacart is integrating ChatGPT to answer customers' food questions. CocaCola plans to use generative AI to help create new marketing content. And while the company hasn't detailed exactly how it plans to deploy the technology, the move reflects the growing pressure on businesses to harness tools that many of their employees and consumers are already trying on their own. Coca-Cola CEO James Quincy said in a recent video announcing a partnership with OpenAI, "We must embrace the risks."
Spotify Technology said on Wednesday it would roll out new features like Smart Shuffle and previews of podcasts and music playlists on its audio streaming platform as it crossed 500 million in monthly active listeners. The Swedish company, which has invested heavily in building up its podcast and audiobooks business in recent years in a bid to attract users and advertisers, announced a new reimagined user interface at its Tremont event.
Spotify said features like autoplay for podcasts, personalized visual and audio previews of podcast episodes and audiobooks or music playlists, and new feeds for discovery will be rolled out in waves starting Wednesday. Earlier this year, Spotify said it would work to become efficient and projected the number of listeners would reach 500 million in the current quarter. Spotify said the number of artists making over $1 million, as well as those generating over $10,000, had more than doubled in the past 5 years.
And that's all for today. Thank you, as always, for tuning in to FUNDAY News. We hope to improve your English skills and keep you informed about international current events all at the same time. Now, should you want to know more about our other programs and keep learning about the world's most important topics in English, as always, please click the link in the description below to join FUNDAY for free. I'm Carrick, your host. Until next time.